Hello everyone, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for a YouTube video of the week. This is not my traditional question and answer time. During this pandemic, I have asked Spirit to guide the topics for what would be relevant for the collective. And so I am doing a little bit more direction just from what Spirit feels like is relevant for you all. And that is my heart and kind of topic for today. I always encourage people, if this is the first time that you have ever been a part of this video, or part of this community watching my video, please go to my website, which is themodernshaman.net, and find out ways that you can connect with me. I am still working full-time, doing private sessions via Skype and via phone. My online calendar is on my website, so you can sign up there if you need one-on-one guidance. All right, so let's dive into the topic for today. When I asked Spirit what they would like me to talk on or what is needed for the collective right now in humanity, they brought up psychic protection and energetic hygiene. Now, I did a podcast maybe a month ago on Beyond the Illusion podcast, a great podcast, and we talked about this. This actually came up as a sense of premonition for this, all that we're going through right now. And genuinely, psychic protection and energetic hygiene are like foundational. They're like psychic 101. You have to learn this stuff when you're engaging in the non-physical world, which we all are. We all are spirit before we're formed. We are always engaging in the energetic world. Everything is energy, and so whether we see it in our visual light spectrum of what we can see with our own optics or not, we are always engaging and communicating and having interaction with the non-physical world. But during this time, Spirit said that everyone needs to be really on top of their game in terms of psychic protection and energetic hygiene. So I want to go through a little bit of those techniques. I do teach this in my class. I didn't even say that at the beginning, but also online learning. I have an online teaching program, and I'm not going to go into that whole spiel right now, but during this time, if you are feeling unmotivated or disempowered in your own spiritual path and getting disillusioned, getting depressed about it, please kind of garner a sense of growth for yourself, whether it's through my classes or somebody else's classes that are developing your spiritual growth and deepening your connection with the divine. This is so important during this time, instead of being inoculated in a way that makes you numb to the experience of the profound change. So all that being said, I have an online teaching program, modules that you can download video by video. There's 44 different teaching modules on there. It's a huge entire program and platform. If you're interested in that, to continue your learning, you can do them kind of piece by piece. They're not super expensive. They're totally accessible to those of you that might need it for whatever you're going through topic by topic. So that's online also at my website, themodernshaman.net. Okay, I know I just had to preface that, but when we talk about psychic protection, the first thing that Spirit was saying is that right now during this pandemic, and we all know this is no surprise, we are in a deep initiated time that is pushing the propaganda of fear and chaos energy. So when this comes up, if you are familiar at all with the non-physical world, then you're familiar with the energy and entities that feed off of fear, paranoia, and a sense of chaos in the mind. And because this is going on worldwide, the negative or the dark entities and energies are having a field day feeding off of humanity right now. Now, I don't say that to elicit fear, because that's actually the opposite of what I'm trying to do with this. What I want to do is elicit a sense of wisdom, a sense of sovereign awareness and choice in what you are giving your power to in your mind and in your emotional body, your heart space. Now, we all have to maintain a sense of protection for ourselves psychically, spiritually. Whether this is called spiritual warfare in times when you feel like the devil's on your shoulder, like a little devil telling you what bad things to do, or thinking of horrible aspects of the future, and then you've got the angel on the other side of your shoulder and they're kind of battling with one another. Or that schizophrenic, chaotic type of mind where your mind is just going into worry and can't sleep, and the anxiety attack is happening on the energetic, psychological level. All of these are telltale signs of needing more psychic protection. All right? So, and again, the entities and energies, as I've explained this in previous videos, or you've seen me before, you know I talk about this, and I use the analogy of literal viruses, of bacteria within the body that the white blood cells are always trying to fight off. There is a sense of natural battle within the body that knows how to eliminate the density, those things that cause dis-ease and disharmony within the body, that cause a frictional energy with the natural flow and health and vitality to your emotional body, your psychological body, and your physical body. So when these things come into our auric field, our energy body, which is larger than our actual body, right? Our body kind of sits inside of our energy body. It's about 5 feet out, the auric field. This is our energetic body. It's measurable by frequency. And this energy body can pick up entities and energies that are dark or dense, or that have a sense of feeding off, like a bacteria or a virus, any sort of negative, dense, or debris in our field, okay? Just like when our physical body is kind of got a low immune system, or if we're not taking care of our body, we're not sleeping enough, we're not keeping up our own sense of health, working out, if we're being callous with our body, we can have low immunity and we can draw in really easily any sort of virus or bacteria, and we're more susceptible to dis-ease. The same happens within our auric field. And because of this pandemic right now and all of the media frenzy that is really pushing a sense of fear, chaos, and the anxiety of worry, these entities and energies in the energetic body are feeding off of that energy. And so we are getting a lot of psychic and non-physical interaction from entities that feed off of the dark and the dense energies, just like bacteria can feed off the dark and dense energies. Try not to personify it as something evil or demonic or like all of this stuff. Stay in a space of conscientious awareness, peace, and sovereign control over your own physical body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body, because you absolutely have a sense of free will and dominant control over your experience. If you're just not used to developing that psychic protection muscle, then it feels a little unsteady at the beginning. Similar to when a child learns to say, no, I don't want that, versus just being spoon-fed everything that they're forced to eat. This is when they start to take on their own sovereign identity. The same is true for us when we begin to take on our true sovereign identity in the non-physical realms, creating psychic protection and a sense of identity where we say, no, this is not allowed in my experience, in my mental mind, in my dream space, and this is, okay? So let's talk about some techniques about how to strengthen your psychic protection right now. And I would encourage you to do this for yourself, your own body, to teach your children how to do it if they're starting to be afraid or experiencing any of these symptoms of paranoia, fear, and this type of thing, as well as for your household. So the environmental factors, because this is a collective energy as well as it is an individuated energy. Okay, so I'm just going to teach a simple way to create psychic protection for yourself. I've talked about this before, and I actually have a video, if you want to look back in my video archive on YouTube, about psychic protection using the Merkaba technique, which is a very high level sacred geometric shape used to ward off any sort of energy or entities that are coming into a physical space. It's a physical domain created. So it's like a protective portal or bubble that is sanctified and created through the use of sacred geometric shape and then momentum, so spinning that. So the way that I'm going to show that now, and you can do it with any sort of shape, is I'm going to show it with a sphere. Now, spheres are particularly useful for sacred geometrical shapes for protection because the energy within them is equally distributed. So it's a diffused energy inside of that sphere that creates a sense of peace, equanimity, harmony, and balance. And this is specifically helpful when we are combating energies that are very targeted, directed at us. You should think this way, you should do this, These are targeted energies that have a very sharp component of energetic interaction with us, where we feel like we're being, again, like targeted, like an arrow or a dart. There's a direction to everything that's coming at us. Or it may be pulling out this way if you feel like you're being pulled in so many directions, you're being asked to do so many different things, and the energy's draining out this way. Again, these are pulls, and so the shape of the geometric circle in terms of sacred geometry is really helpful to combat those types of energy, to kind of equalize and move you into a place of evenly distributed peace. So when you do this psychic boundary, I would encourage you to have your feet firmly planted on the floor. You can stand in a posture of aligned strength. A sovereign posture has your spine in a vertical alignment with that of the earth, as if your spine is a pole and it's moving directly into the earth. You can also sit in a meditative, like a lotus pose, where your coccyx, your tailbone itself, is hitting and having direct contact with the ground or the floor, and essentially grounding that pole or bringing the energetic connection to the floor. So this is a strong sense of sovereign body, mind, and soul posturing, right? So you're standing in this posture and you close your eyes and you move into the non-physical, the psychic realm, because this is where we want the energetic protection to start and begin and take hold. And you visualize with your internal vision a sphere around you, as if you're placing yourself inside of a snow globe, right? Or a fish bowl, but you want it completely spherical around you, giving yourself enough space, about 5 feet out, to connect and completely cover your whole auric field. Now, when you're inside of that sphere, first of all, I would encourage you to make that spherical shape an alloy that feels protective to you. Now, the heart chakra alloy is that of copper and gold. And because so much of this virus, or all that we're going through right now, is a collective clearing of the heart chakra, I would encourage you to use an alloy that's similar to that. So visualizing this gold coated, I used to use titanium a lot, but Spirit's been directing me towards gold and the alloy of copper here. But you move and see that color as if a molten liquid alloy is being formed around your snow globe, your sphere. And it's solidifying in its space. It's protective enough to have plenty of air and breathing and movement and flow of openness around you. And then you want to stretch your energy field out to feel the edges and strength of that field. So you want to feel as if you're pushing yourself. You can actually do this physical posture that I'm doing as if I'm hitting the exterior of my body, but this would be the exterior of your energetic field, your auric field, 5 feet out, pushing it out against the edges of the sphere of protection that you've created for yourself. Standing all the way down, all the way out, as if checking for any sort of breach in your shield. When you've seen and you've felt that, you want to push your heart space energy into that. So there's an emotional quality here that also takes place. Being very, very sincere in your desire for this protection. So this can be done through a space of petitioning, of prayer, of asking your angels, your guides, your ancestors, your loved ones, your light team that feel pure in a source of love, to hold this space and this shape of protection around you from the non-physical realm, asking them to restrain and keep this protection effective on their side of the non-physical realm in the veil that they see and experience in multidimensional experiences, as well as you on this side. So move into a time of heartfelt, sincere desire, standing in your own sovereign energy, stating either out loud verbally. I would encourage you to do that because there's an amplification. So when you state out loud in a sense of sovereign energy, you amplify out like a megaphone and double the power of what it is that you're claiming for yourself. So I would claim out loud that I create this sovereign boundary of psychic protection for my own energetic field, that nothing that is dark, dense, negative, paranoid, fear-based, worry-based, anxiety-based may breach my sovereign sphere of protected energy. Only what is in the purest and highest vibration of absolute supreme love may dissolve into my energetic sphere, creating light, harmony, peace, and everlasting supreme love for me and for my household. Now, I just channeled that, but you can say whatever you feel is true for you, and essentially identifying what vibrations can stay out and what vibrations may come in. Now, once you've done that for yourself, give gratitude for it, open your eyes once it's felt and it's known that this is true, like so be it. There is a sense of resolution that you'll feel like it's done, I'm finished, it feels solid, I believe it now, basically. Once that is done, then you can do the same thing for your household. So if you're working with your children, you can do this by visualizing your child right in front of you. You can put the sphere around them and essentially ask their higher self, or ask them if they're there, for their own sense of sovereign free will permission to do so. If your child is open to this, then I would guide them through the visualization themselves, helping them to feel strong, helping them to feel protected and their power with a sense of shield around them. Now, if they've seen any sort of the Marvel comics or Captain America or all of these superhero type of comics, then they can visualize that shield themselves. This will be a familiar energy that they'll be able to move into a very deep and aligned psychic space within themselves that's believable. Not, again, to create or induce fear, but to move into a sovereign space. So you'll want to move where your words feel peaceful, where they feel sovereign and strong and absolute. Not in an energy of like chaos, like protect me, please, please, please. This is chaos energy versus that sovereign space of peace aligned with strength. This is the warrior that has prayed themselves tried and true, that has meditated in the purest space of the heart. So once you've done that for yourself, as well as for those in your household, your children, your family, those that you love and care about, and you can come back to this as often as you need it. Some people ask, like, once you set it up, do you have to keep at it? Traditionally, no, but when we are in a space where we are being barraged and bombarded by this energy and kind of a feeding frenzy of entities and energies that are drawn like flies to that type of infection in our human society, of this dis-ease of fear, those that are drawn into it, and there's so many of them now, I would say that you're going to have to come back to this. You can do it as a nightly practice while you're laying in bed. You can do it right as you wake up, as you stomp your feet, you put your feet on the floor. You can do it as a practice, as a part of your daily schedule, a way to come back into the energy of your own sovereign protection and peace and diffuse energy of love and unity here. So I want to also say that when you do this for your house, this is the final sense of direction here with this video, that you will want to go outside and create a sense of boundary. So similar to the way that I said you stand when you're doing this for your own physical body, you'll want to stand outside or in your yard, creating your own sense of physical boundary for your house or wherever you live. If you live in an apartment complex, you'll want to go outside of the complex and surround the whole complex. So you'll want to be able to believe it visually. So you'll need to also have a physical tactile point of focus. And I like to essentially create that tactile boundary. So when I go outside, I'll kind of touch a tree or stomp at the very edge of my property. I'll talk later I guess I'll make a separate video because this one's getting long, about energetic hygiene and salting your perimeter and creating a sense of utilizing minerals and stones and things to create a sense of literal protection around your household. But when you're doing the psychic protection in the non-physical realm, first connect with the physical. So go out, put your hand on the edges or stomp your feet on the edges, create a sense of where the bubble or the perimeter is going to go. And it's going to go underneath the earth and around. And again, just like our physical body expands out larger, our perimeter around our household body also extends out larger. So there's an amplification of energy, and depends on how many people live in your household, but you'll want to kind of double that out like times 5. So because, and this is general, some people's auric field, if they've been doing light work and they're expanding their own sense of consciousness, can be felt like 50 miles away. So this is very general, with general human bodies amplifying at a normal level of light and amplification. But the households themselves, essentially, depending on how many people are there, you'll want to amplify that times 5. Same. So, and then within the household, so how many people and how large is that carrying within the household itself? So like for instance, with my household, there's 4 of us here. So times 5 is 20, and you'll move that out 20 feet. So 20 feet further than the exterior of our perimeter of the property. So when I'm visualizing that, and this is not exact, don't get so caught up in the numbers of it, but it gives you a visual and it gives you a tactile, and when you have the visual, it transfers and moves easier through the 3D. So it essentially aligns our material world with our visual and psychic world. It makes our body and the material realm in which we live believe and interact more fluidly and harmoniously with the non-physical. Okay, so you always want to use them in harmony. This is why ceremony has a lot of physical action in harmony with what you're doing in the psychological and the spiritual realms, right? They bring harmony to them. They utilize them together and work together with more unison and strength. So as you're outside, you're essentially seeing and marking that territory with your hands, and then you're going to go through the same practice, whether you stand by stomping, whether you sit outside, give yourself, if you're in the backyard or somewhere where you can have a sense of privacy, and then you want to create that barrier, again, amplify by how many people are in the space that you're doing, and then move that alloy of protection here. Now, if you really, really feel like there's a lot of chaotic energy here, you're in an apartment complex or a large grouping of people where everything feels amplified, you can utilize the elemental of fire. This is a strong sense of alchemy that burns out any toxins and alchemizes automatically anything that is dark, dense, or heavy. It will literally change the material form. So you can, at the end of your perimeter of this bubble, put another layer, another circle or sphere of fire, as if there is a fire, and let that move. When I'm saying move, like give a momentum to it. So spin it. So if you're spinning that, I would encourage you to physically spin in both directions to give a sense of equanimity and balance to that sphere. You can also do this with yourself if you're in an extreme case or your household's in an extreme case of distress or disharmony, if there's a lot of fighting going on or a lot of eruption going on, right? The fire is a purifier, but it is a purifier through alchemy, so it uses extremes, and be conscious of that. So you will go through a time of kind of like detox in the household, detox in the body, detox through. This, though, brings an absolute purity to it afterwards. Okay, so I know I said I was going to talk about psychic protection and energetic hygiene, but this video got really long in the detail, so I'm going to stop there and I'll make a secondary video just about energetic hygiene and how to do regular practices to keep yourself, your own body, as well as those in your household, clean and clear of picking up any sort of dense, heavy disharmony within the body, mind, and the soul. I am sending absolute love to you all and just encouraging you again to stay unified. Stay unified. Stay in community in our own hearts. Don't let this move you into a space of fear of your fellow man or any sort of separation. Instead, let it move you into the one heart of unified consciousness where we can come together in a space of all wanting the absolute best in love and unity and freedom for all of us. I love you all. Blessings.